And you said I look at Ben. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. Welcome. My name is Charles, and we are coming to you live from Nairobi. Thank you for taking your time to join us on this conversation under the theme Impact for Prosperity, Rethinking the Business of Business. Alongside me is a host of panelists who are raring to go, and I will not keep them waiting any further. We'll do a quick round of introduction, and I'd like to bring them to you in an interesting way. So tell us your name, what you do, anything else you think is important for us, and finish by telling us your favorite food. And I think we'll start with Marisa.
An impact for Africa-Asia region. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well, Marisa. Thank you.
And I didn't hear your question. What would you like to know?
Introduce yourself to the guys who are following, tell us what you do, anything you feel is important, and finish by telling us your favorite food.
My favorite food. Being an African, maize is at the center of something that I like very much, but very difficult to find here in Singapore is a good plate of maize meal porridge.
Okay, it's good to have you, Marisa, joining us from Singapore. And we'll jump to you, David.
All right. So my name is David. I'm the supply chain manager at Yara. Yara East Africa. My favorite food is githeri, as we call it in Kenya. Githeri is a mix of maize and beans and a little bit of pumpkin on it. Thank you.
All right.
And one fun thing about myself, I love football, I love sports, I love hiking. Thank you.
Yeah. David had an injury 2 years ago that only footballers get. Yeah. We'll go to the next one.
All right. My name is Carol Mumo. I'm the impact lead for Africa. My favorite food is chicken biryani. I would go to the ends of the world to eat it. And something fun about me is actually we share a common interest with David is that I love hiking as well. So yeah.
Oh, I almost thought you wanted to say you love football.
No, I can't play football.
Okay.
My name is Alexine Hassoa. I'm a mother of 3 adults, my oldest being 32 years, and the baby is 24. I'm a farmer in Kitengela, that is in Kajiado County, and my favorite food is ugali and chicken with some green sukuma. Yeah.
Awesome. And where are you joining us from? Please let us know on the comment section, and we'd like to send you a shout out. And you can also tell us what your favorite food is. I'd like us to get into the content of our discussion today. And an economist called Milton Friedman said what has become a very famous statement in our spaces, that the business of business is business. And this statement was sort of to imply that social issues are not as important as corporate management is, and that corporate's loyalty should lie in its stakeholders and creating profit for them. And the question is just how relevant is this statement in today's day and age? Now, while that statement was made, we have data that seems to imply that the one seems to be going in a different direction. Like there's a slide I'd like to show you that says, apparently companies with stronger sustainability DNA are more likely to deliver financial value and a lasting positive impact on society and the environment. All stakeholders, employees, consumers, and investors expect businesses to do more. And 73% of executives view becoming sustainable and responsible as a top priority. On the end of consumers, 66% of them feel that it's important that they make ethical and sustainable purchases, while there's been a 28% increase in investor signatories in 2020 to the UN's principles on responsible investment. And so what this seems to imply is that there's been a change in thinking in general society. And at this point, I'd like to come to Marisa and ask, with this data and the disruptions, in the recent years due to the geopolitical scenario in the world at the moment, and just how food systems have been tried all over the world, the question then is, what is Yara's response to this shift? And what is Yara doing in the space of impact?
Thank you, Charles. It's a good question. I think I also need to maybe step back a little bit, possibly even 100 years. I think Yara is always been focused on prosperity and sustainability. Our roots, our first innovations that started the company really were a response to famine in Europe and impact livelihoods in Europe at that time. From then, I think the world has changed significantly. As you mentioned, more and more the pressure is on in terms of our food systems. And reality is that many of our food systems are broken. And we have increased population, more mouths to feed. There is also instability from wars, regional or global wars that are impacting supply chains. All of this has an impact on our food security. And 3 years ago, Yara already started reimagining how we would deliver on our mission to responsibly feed the world and protect the planet. And that is where our new ambition, growing a nature-positive food future, has taken root, with a real strong focus on how we address the food systems and the extreme pressure that these food systems are facing due to climate as well as human challenges. But that means that we have to produce more without taking more. Actually, we need to start putting back into nature, addressing our soils, biodiversity, as well as protecting our very limited resources. So we're fully committed to continue to responsibly feed the world with a very strong focus on sustainability, most importantly on prosperity, on livelihoods. We believe that we need to improve livelihoods, but to do that, we need to support our farmers to produce better yields, improve their income, and to farm sustainably, while enabling them to continue to help us fight hunger and balance nutrition, healthy nutrition, because today a lot of the food that we are consuming, we can't always say it's the most nutritious food. So how do we help farmers continue to produce nutritious food in a sustainable way, but ultimately that they can improve their own livelihoods and the communities in which they operate, obviously.
And now I'd like to go to Carol, because Marisa has introduced this new ambition, and we keep calling the new ambition even 3 years later, that Yara has introduced that's more people-centered. How is this ambition being translated on the ground?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question, and coming from the back of what Marisa has said, we launched the impact strategy in December 2021, and within the strategy we laid out our 4 key goals, and also within that there were some 5 sub goals, but I'll just touch on the 4 main goals that we focus on as impact. Our goals are focused on providing digital access and enablement to farmers, providing economic empowerment to youth and women in the agri space, bolstering growth within our retail channel, our distribution channels in the areas that we operate in, whilst also contributing to food security, as Marisa mentioned. Now, out of all these goals, what we launched in the last couple of years was our flagship program called the Yara Leadership Academy that was focused on the retail channel. We launched this in India and Kenya and targeted 1,000 MSMEs. And really our ambition or our aim of doing this was to strengthen the capacity or the knowledge of our retail channel to grow their capacity and their capability on managing their businesses. It's because of this we believe that with a strengthened retail channel, they'll be able to support our farmers in a much more better way, in a sustainable way, and therefore building onto the prosperity of the farmers. So that's what we've been doing from an impact space on the ground. Yeah.
It's interesting. You mentioned that the reason why we began by targeting the MSMEs in our channel is because they have a clearer picture of the farmers, and therefore better placed to address the needs of the farmers.
Yes.
Now, I picked that up because today we're joined by someone who's very special to us.
Yeah.
And we will see just how that strategy made a difference in her life and in the work that she does. So we're joined by someone who's a lead farmer, a Yara Shuja, a graduate of the pioneer cohort of the Yara Leadership Academy, and a very special guest for us today. There's a photo of hers I'd like to show you from the cohort that we ran last year, who graduated, and their graduation was actually in Mombasa. And this photo is now a favorite of ours at the office. It will be coming up. Yeah, there you are. And that's her and two of her friends. And so, tell us, Alexei, when did you discover you want to be a farmer? And how did that journey begin?
My journey of actually being a farmer is very interesting. I am a Corona farmer.
You're a Corona farmer?
Yes. I started farming 3 years ago. When Corona hit, I had just moved into the neighborhood in Kitengela, and we were locked up. So I didn't have anything to do. Then I thought, why not try farming? So that is how I started farming. And I started off with 1/4 acre. And right now, I'm doing 13 acres.
Wow.
Yes.
Within 3 years, you've grown from 1/4 to 13 acres.
Correct. And what really made me grow this fast is actually the Leadership Academy that I attended. This was the game changer in my farming life. Because initially I had started with a 1/4 acre, and when we went for the leadership program, actually the first topic was on mindset. And I realized, oh, you mean you can have different mindsets? You have the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. And I realized, you know, in a fixed mindset, you think these things are done, they have already happened. But in a growth mindset, I learned that I can grow. I have the ability to grow. I have the ability to start something new and really grow into it. And with the growth, because I am growing, I can actually develop resilience. I will be able to focus and even interact more with people because it's something that I am growing. And that is how I went into farming. And also the next topic we learned in the leadership program was on goal setting. So actually this time I set my goals and told myself I want to be one of the leading farmers in Kajiado County, from what I learned in the program. And there are also other things that we learned about knowing your market, setting a budget, and also keeping records, something that us farmers mainly don't do, because you realize farming is a sole proprietorship. So you are the manager, you are the accountant, you are the everything.
You're the HR,
you're the HR, you're the CEO, you're everything. But I realized that you have to keep records for you to really know where you're going. And all this was because I learned this from the leadership program. And then even after that, how do you spend this money? You have to know how you'll spend the money you're going to get after that. So this leadership program actually was a game changer for me. And in the process, because of being in the leadership program, I became a Yara Shuja. And becoming a Yara Shuja has also really enabled me to go places. A lot of things have happened. Because of becoming a Yara Shuja, with the help of Ronald, I was able to, you know, I used to think me, I'm analog, I'm old. But with the growth mindset, I realized, no, I can learn.
Maybe you're not as old as you think.
Maybe I'm not as old as I think.
Yeah.
So actually, he set for me a Facebook page, and I've really been sharing with the world what I'm doing at the farm every day because of actually the leadership program. And because of becoming a shuja, I also started interacting a lot with Yara and using the Yara products. And my production has grown.
Wow.
From my first harvest of onion, I was actually doing 2 tons per acre. But now, I'm actually at 20 tons per acre. You can imagine that increase.
That's impressive.
And then also the other thing in the leadership program, you remember we had the agri-bites of maize and tomatoes.
Yes.
Initially, I was only doing onion. But because of that, I went through the tomato agri-bite, and believe you me, right now, I'm one of the leading tomato farmers in Kitengela.
Wow.
Within a span of 1 year.
Wow.
Because of this leadership program.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. A question, because what I'd want to know, I mean, it's been a really nice journey all the way up to this point.
Yes.
Where do you want to go from here now?
From here, as you've talked about food sustainability and food security, that is the direction I really want to go. I want to impact more people. I want to impact the society. And with this, actually with my Facebook page, with being in partnership with Yara, my farm is open to everybody. My farm is open to the world. I have had people who have been contacting me, like a good story. There's a young man who's really been engaged. He was really engaging me from the US. And right now he came back in December. He started farming just because of what we are doing on the farm. And my farm is also open. I would want more people to come and see. And I share the knowledge that I'm acquiring and that I've acquired, because I realized actually knowledge grows. And we should have an open mindset with a growth mindset where knowledge grows, and we'll definitely build a better world.
Yeah. As a final question for you, would you like to tell the ladies and gentlemen what the name of your farm is?
Okay. My farm is called Limitless Fresh Farm. We are located in Kitengela, Kajiado County, and we grow tomatoes, onions, and cabbages for crop rotation. We're actually doing 13 acres right now. Onion is on 6 acres, and for tomatoes is on 7 acres. Right now we have onion which is about 6 weeks old, and tomatoes will start harvesting in 2 weeks. So I would like anybody who is actually maybe not sure about this, come and visit the farm and actually prove for yourself what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I love the name of your farm, Limitless.
We are limitless.
Limitless.
Yes.
Okay. So this is your reminder to talk to us on our comment section on whichever platform you're following us on. Chat us up, we'll send a shout out, just say hi. It's good enough for us to recognize you and know you're following. We've been talking about impact, and we've been talking to people who are actively in this space. But I'd like us to take a different direction now and talk to someone who does a day-to-day job in Yara that may not seem to be directly involved in this, but I think he has something interesting to tell us. I'd like to cut to David. Of course, Yara's sustainability, your commitment to sustainability goes beyond just the actions of Impactor.
Yeah.
And can you tell us what you do in Yara and how you're contributing towards sustainability?
Interesting. So what I do in Yara as a supply chain manager, we are at the focal point, as Marisa mentioned in her introduction, on the supply chain. And of course, the supply chain is moving the goods from one place to the other. We play a key role in ensuring we are reducing carbon emissions into the environment by the systems that we're going to use in terms of logistics. We are partnering with our suppliers to ensure they're using good trucks that are less emitting to the environment. We are getting the use of rail transport to ensure we don't need to use a lot of trucks on the road. We are route planning such that we deliver to same customers with this one truck instead of using 10 trucks to go to the same pool of customers. So this is one of the things that we're doing. And of course, personally, the sustainability aspect of it is very important, because we're going to live a world that we're going to impact the future. We need our children and the future to ensure they can see what we did, and that was important in terms of their livelihoods. Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. You know, we can't go through life thinking that only the present matters.
Yes.
Every action we engage in needs to have the awareness that there's a tomorrow, and there's people who need that tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes.
What David is not telling you is that he's a pioneer of an initiative called the Green Citizens of Yara, where we highlight the contribution of our various colleagues towards achieving our new and sustainability-focused ambition of growing a nature-positive food future. And so, congratulations, David. Green
Thank
Citizen
you.
number 001.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'd like to come back to Marisa now, because we've talked about, you know, we've gone around the panelists talking about really interesting things and impactful things that we're doing for our communities. But the question I want to ask is, how committed is Yara to this ambition or to this objective? Is it something that we are doing just for the present, you know, to cope with the current circumstances? Or, okay, how committed are we to this agenda?
I would say we're super committed, very serious. You know, we actually don't see it as something that we do as an extra or on the side of our existing business. It's at the core of our day-to-day operations. For impact to be sustainable, it has to be, as one of my colleagues says, it has to be intentional. We have to have an intentionality when we go about our everyday tasks. As David mentioned, he's in supply chain. And even in our supply chains teams, in our finance teams, in our commercial organization, we're embedding our ambition as part of our day-to-day deliverables. It's not a program that we run on the side. It's something that we believe strongly in, that from our production plants to delivering a product that is lower carbon, where we have innovated and produced product, premium product, quality product that can help farmers increase yield. We've also produced that product with less carbon emissions. We look for, from a supply chain perspective, how we can get that product to the farmers in a more efficient and sustainable way. We look at not just the product themselves, but our agronomists that are on the field every day are working with farmers to better understand their soils so that they can use the right nutrients at the right times for their crops to increase yields. So every step of that value chain, from our production to the farmer's final crop, is for us about impact and sustainability. So I think we're super serious. It's intentional, and everything that we do is linked. So if you think about the Leadership Academy, the Leadership Academy is a platform which we've created within our existing channel. So in other words, with our existing retailers and connecting our existing farmers. It's not something that we have lofty ambitions on the side and in a few years' time we won't be there anymore. We're building it as part of our business because we believe that sustainable impact has to be at the core of everything that we do.
Marisa, and it's good to know that this is something we are in for the long haul. Yeah, Carol, off the back of what Marisa has said, what's on the horizon in the space of impact?
We have really exciting stuff coming up in 2024. We are launching the second cohort of the Yara Leadership Academy in a few months' time, focusing in India, Kenya, and Tanzania. And our target is to recruit 2,000 MSMEs. So that's something very exciting. And I'm looking forward to hearing more stories like that of Alexine, now reaching the spans of India and Tanzania now. We have a strong community of 1,000 alumni who graduated from the first cohort. We are developing something interesting for them because we realize we need to keep engaging them, and so as to continue supporting them so that they can also be quite prosperous and successful in everything they do.
So that's a program for Alexine and her friends?
Yes, for Alexine and her friends. Yes. Third but not least, something that I'm very excited about is that we're going to start working very closely with women in 2024, women farmers or agripreneurs. So that's something that we are also crafting at the back burner. So we realize we cannot, of course, do this alone as Yara. So we are also looking for like-minded partners and businessmen who can come in and bring in their expertise and support so that we can make sure that these programs not only run, but they are sustainable as to what Marisa was talking about, and they benefit the people that they are targeted to benefit. So stay tuned and looking forward to 2024. Thank you.
It seems Yara has very good plans for you.
I am so excited about this. Carol, thank you very much. Marisa, thank you so much. Yeah, it's sounding so exciting.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, David.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear from you. What other opportunities exist for people who are engaged in employment, maybe outside of Yara or doing their jobs? How can they drive a more sustainability-centered operation?
Sure, quite a couple of ways, and of course the first one is recycling, reusing. If all of us as a universe, and Yara of course, which we are heading this section, we could recycle all the materials that we're using, the packaging materials for instance, that will save a lot because it gives us room not to reuse a lot of virgin plastic on it, and it's a good initiative. The other thing is farmers like Alexine in Kitengela. Instead of her ordering only 100 bags for her own farm of 13 acres, we are speaking with Alexine and the rest of the alumni within Kitengela. We deliver to them. Okay? What does that mean? It means instead of Alexine sending one truck or a pickup, and then there's carbon on the road all the way from Mombasa to Kitengela in our farm, we are reducing the use of her truck, her friend's truck, and somebody else be using just one truck.
So consolidating all of those orders into one truck.
Exactly, that is the point. The other thing we're doing is we're speaking with our business partners, telling them you need to use the right fuel, you need to use a good fleet of trucks. Old trucks will obviously emit a lot of carbon to the environment. So those are the three key things that we are doing. And of course we...
And on point number 3, if
yes.
I'm not wrong, I think you have set, you're just being kind with your language, but I know for a fact you have set very strict regulations
yes.
on the kind of trucks we are allowed to load onto.
Exactly, very strict. There's a rigorous checklist before you load any truck in Yara, be it's a customer's truck or it's our truck that we've provided. So if this minimum reducible checklist is not met, we're not going to load for you because we only want to sell fertilizer. We only load for you if the truck is meeting the minimum standards that are required. All right? Last but not least, of course, is the continuous engagement and improvement both to our partners and ourselves as employees, so that we be the face of sustainability and champion the message to the community in terms of how a greater role you play for all actions you're doing or inaction now for the future. Thank you.
So the action or inaction
yes.
of the present has a big effect on the future.
Very big effect.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I'd like to recognize some people who are following us here. Helen Glenn says hello. Someone called Justice says hi Alexina, and they're celebrating you for your growth.
Thank you.
David, you have a thumbs up here from someone called Betty Chalo. Timuru Diagon, he's reminding us that he's here and he's following and is live. And there's an interesting comment here from someone called Helen Joroge, who's saying, happy to be following from Mombasa. I'm pleased to be working with Yara through bulk stream. and supporting them to be empowered and to grow. Thank you very much for everyone who's following. And keep sharing your comments. Let's keep this conversation alive. Let's keep talking. I'd like to come to you guys now for our final round of comments. What's your parting shot? And I think we'll start with you, sir.
Thank you. One thing I'm excited about Yara, we're not building castles in Spain, and whatever we're doing here is extremely paramount and important, and it has direct impact to ourselves and to the future. So, and of course with the guidance of Marisa and the rest of the team, we're doing something very important, and we can be sure, we can be certain that 100 years to come and in the foreseeable future, the world will be a better place to live, and we can keep doing whatever we're doing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the world will be a better place to live if we make the right choices in the present.
Right now, yes.
Nice parting shot. Carol.
I think riding on David's comments, which are very good, I think it's to challenge us to be sustainability champions or impact champions. Think about everything that we do. Are we doing it for the sake of our generations that are coming? Is it going to help the planet? Is it going to sustain our planet? So it's challenging ourselves to be sustainability champions and impact champions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carol's parting shot. Think about the grandchildren.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
As always.
Alexi.
Just to add on what Carol is saying, I think, like for us in the farm, we've decided we are going to be composting everything that we get, so that we want to go really organic. On top of that, Yara has come up with this product, Yara Sooner. So you see, we're looking at the future, and the future is now. What I would want to tell everybody out there, you've even seen what has been happening in the market. Let's not look anywhere else. Mbolea ni Yara, anytime. Come to my farm, we are in Kitengela. We are called Limitless Fresh Farm. And come prove for yourself and see what I'm talking about. Karibuni.
Thank you, Alexi. You're always very generous with your compliments. Thank you very much. Marisa, parting shot.
I'm super inspired by all the knowledge that we have, not just in Yara, but also with our customers, with our partners. It's important to realize that we cannot change the world alone. And if we work together, if we are willing to co-create with those around us, we can get there faster, most probably more efficient. And at the end of the day, everyone needs to win. Not just the big companies, the small companies, the farmers, the truck drivers, the entire value chain needs to win. And to do that, we need to work together and be willing to take some risks to support each other. At the end of the day, impact is only felt when it's at scale. And we want it at scale because we want to change the world for the future. So we need to do it together.
Thank you for that. Everyone wins only if we all work together. Thank you for that. So that's it from us today. Thank you for spending your time with us. We hope you're leaving here impacted and impactful. Thank you to our technical team, Wojo, for hosting us in this beautiful space. Yara Africa and Asia and Yara Kenya Comms teams for helping us pull this through. And goodbye. And remember to be a good steward of yourself, of your planet, and of the people around you. Cheers. See you at the next one.